Shalom Aleichem and welcome to Online Smicha. Everybody in his own Avodas Hashem is always looking to improve and do things, not only the letter of the law, but even Lifnim Mishura Sadin. And we find throughout Halacha and Gemara different expressions for people who are machmir or makpid al atzmam. We find hazahir, one who's extra careful, one who's a zariz, one who's swift. Those type of people make sure to go a little better, a little more above the letter of the law. Yet we find a very interesting din. I'm saying din even though it applies to specific people who are the cream of the crop, as we'll soon see. But the Gemara says about three specific items that Nekiyei Hadas. Nekiyei Hadas means the pure-minded people. And the Mefarshim and the Ein Yaakov say this is even more than a Zahir and a Zariz. This is, even if everything you're doing is right, these are extra super careful people, what they are machmir on themselves not to do. So the Gemara in Sanhedrin, in the beginning of the third parak, Daf Chav Gimel Amud Aleph, the Gemara says like this: Kach hoyu nekiyei hadash sheYerushalayim oisim. The pure-minded people of Yerushalayim would do these three things, even though halachically it might not be a problem. First of all, lo hayu chaysmim al ashtar ela im kein yoidim mi chaysam imayim. To save themselves from an embarrassment, you need, to make a shtar valid, you need two witnesses. So the pure-minded person, even if he was asked to be a witness and to sign, he never signed until he knew who exactly the other person signing with him will be. Because if it turns out the other person is a puzzle, and he is a lot of things attached to him that will disqualify him from becoming a witness, being allowed to be a witness, the whole spiel, the whole shtar is not worth anything, and it causes him an embarrassment too. So the first thing is in the Nekiyei Hadas, make sure that before they sign, who is the second person? The second thing, and we know this, and if you learn Hilchas Dayanim, Hilchas Eidos, it's usually a package deal. Whoever does things that don't fit for Dayanim don't fit for Eidim. Things that don't fit for Eidim don't fit for Dayanim. So the second thing in the Nekiyei Hadas were machmir. If they were Dayanim, if there was a person, a Dayan, and you know that preferably it's needed to have 3 Dayanim to judge cases. So you shouldn't just mismatch people. Take a dayan from here, take a dayan from there, and just put them together. Then the Nekiyei Hadas, they wouldn't sit to discuss or look over a court case. Then Torah, elim kein yoidim mi yoshev imayim. They wanted to make sure they know who are the other 2 dayanim, because we want to make sure they're not corrupt. I don't want to be sitting together with 2 other people that are corrupt, and then my voice won't even be heard. Okay, these are 2 very important things, Eidos and Dayanim. Then we find the connection is funny. The third thing is, Lo yayu nichnasim besuda. The Nekiyei Hadas, the pure-minded people of Yerushalayim, would not enter to dine in a meal, Ela im kein yoidim mi meisav imayim, unless they knew who else is dining there. If the people sitting there and spatzering and eating and who's your hangout? Who's the crowd there? Unless they knew who the crowd was and it's a kosher crowd, they wouldn't even go sit there. Now, the Mefarshim and the Ein Yaakov say that specifically the Gemara says Nekiyei Hadas Sheb Yerushalayim. Why specifically Yerushalayim? Because it says that in times of Ezra, a lot of assimilated people came into Yerushalayim, and we didn't know the yichus was how good the yichus was. So there was a lot of trouble, a lot of not good people. So specifically, the Nekiyei Hadas Sheb Yerushalayim made sure that you know who your company is. This third one is mentioned in the halacha in Orach Chaim too. The other ones about Dayanim and the Eidos are mentioned in Choshen Mishpat. But a practical thing, day to day, or every one of us is always invited to go to places, There is a din in Shulchan Aruch Siman Kuf Ayin, Orach Chaim Siman Kuf Ayin, Sif Chaf. The Kiyei Hadasha B'Yerushalayim, the pure-minded people of Yerushalayim. If it says in Shulchan Aruch, he's not just telling you a story. He's telling you that that's something that we should try to behave that way too. They would not sit in a meal, dine in a meal, unless you know who's the company. And he gives an explanation. It's embarrassing for a Talmud Chacham to have the company to be in the company of Amaratzim. A Talmud Chacham has to be better than that. So before you sit and dine and hang out with a crowd, make sure the crowd is kosher. The Mishnah Brura in Sif Cotton Membeis brings from Achronim. He says that the person dining, which you say you have to make sure the crowd is kosher. It's not only in a restaurant. It's not only in just a hangout. The Mishnah Brura brings from Achronim afilu b'sudas mitzvah. Even if it's a sudas mitzvah, a bris, a chasna bar mitzvah, if the crowd, the company, is pasnished, a Talmud Chacham doesn't sit and eat there. The Bir Halacha goes on to explain where do we see this? Where do we see this mucker? A mucker for this, that even by sudas mitzvah, it's so important, and yet you have to know who the company is. And especially, he asks, Gam eina ha'elam nizarim b'zeh klal. The fact is that we see that people are always dinners, even community things, and nobody goes making sure if everybody around them is kosher. So he says like this. It's interesting because it comes out that even in his times they used to make fundraising dinners or just communal gatherings, because he says, "Venirali, it appears to me in the Bir Halacha, shafilu l'didei im yochel liyos te'elas mimasha Talmud Chacham meisav shama." Sometimes, if it could be beneficial by the fact that the Talmud Chacham shows up in that gathering, it could be that the people there are not yet where they're supposed to be, but it would benefit. The people might learn from him. The people seeing the Talmud Chacham might honor and respect Torah. Kugoin, so he says, for example, Mashanoigim bizmanenu chabura shel machnisei archim. There's a group for Hachnasas Archim, or a group for a Gamach. It seems to be what we do, dinners and Malava Malkus, fundraisings. Now, not everybody in the fundraising dinner is Shomer Shabbos. Not everybody in the fundraising dinner it might even be Frum. Who knows how bad it could be? So maybe the Fruma Talmidei Chacham have to run out. He says no. In a case like that, Sha'osin Su'uda Bizman HaMiyuchad Lehem. There is a designated time for that meal. And the Talmud Chacham being there in that time, Yischazek al Yedei Zeh Hadavar Yoser v'Yoser. The institution that's being honored that night will get a little more fame by this important Talmud Chacham showing up. Ein shum chshash bedover. In a case like that, there is no chshash. Va'adarabba. Kavod HaTorahu kishem mitzvaysa mischaskim. It's actually honor of Torah when the mitzvahs of the Torah get strength. If this gathering is to strengthen the mitzvah, it is part of Kavod HaTorah for you to be there. He only he suggests that if a Talmud Chacham does come, not necessarily he has to mingle with the other class people. He should try, because based on this halacha, unless he's having a direct effect, he should try to be amongst himself with a place where it doesn't minimize his Kavod HaTorah.